But you're live from the My Insurance Group media room. Did I get that right this time?
Sort of, yeah, but you said it weird. It's like
I was thinking about it.
Was that a radio voice?
Welcome to the Homes and Homies podcast, where we talk real estate, mortgage insurance, trending events, and other cool stuff.
Can you do that in Rush Limbaugh? Dudlup, 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 Dudlup.
I've been Rush.
There you go.
Rush is gone. Mr. Oxycontin, Rush Limbaugh. I said it out loud.
We're going heavy real quick. Okay. Whoopsies. Can I make an episode dedication before we get going?
An episode dedication.
I came prepared for this. I wanted to bring a little bit of honesty and character today. So I want to dedicate this to my daughters and my beautiful wife who made it all possible. You know? Just go ahead and...
I had that shirt. Yes.
I like that.
If you're
I was actually getting really worried when he started. I was like, oh shit.
I saw your worried face. I just wanted to
take you to the gun show today, boy.
Annabelle, Lisa Bella, Cherica, I love you guys. This is where it all started whenever it gets big. So let's jump into the heavy stuff. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, we got Ernest the Face Enriquez over at eXp Realty, Michael William Litwin, the Lone Wizard from Thrive Mortgage.
Yeah, I think I like Lone
We
Wizard.
got Gary Goetz from Succession Title, and yours truly, John Henry Hansen, over at My Insurance
It's
Group.
also known as Handsome Hansen.
Hansen.
I like to go Hampson.
I like your professional photo. It's from like 10 years ago.
It's like the glamour shot.
You're totally pulling a real estate agent there with the glamour shot.
It's pretty
from
old.
10 years ago.
It's a little
It's actually
dated.
not that old. It's 2020.
Is it 2020?
Yeah, I took that in 2020. I had the goatee, and I had very little gray.
Yeah,
That's what it
In
is.
2020,
It's a
like
little
literally
gray.
all this gray.
That's what's called insurance.
Yeah, all this
Yeah.
gray has literally happened since COVID. It's just like, oh shit, yeah. Like I am rocking whatever's left is white now. So
when we say stress
blow it
free,
up. It's a lot less gray.
yeah, that's the photo.
That's
Yeah.
it right there.
That's definitely politician. I don't know about insurance.
Are you running for mayor of San Antonio?
I
Cast my vote. My vote's for John Hansen.
Yeah.
So it's,
Hansen for mayor.
What's your stance on flat Earth? Just kidding. Let's
Oh, flat.
Oh, damn. Have you been watching the episodes?
No,
No,
I
man.
threw away my TV after the last JFK episode.
yeah. So I think I've said it, and I've used
a capital R.
I'm going to try not to use the R word again.
We need more R words for the
Rotund?
3-minute reel.
What's the R word?
Retard.
Oh.
We can't say retard.
Yeah, it's like if you believe in flat Earth in 2024, you're fucking retarded. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, sorry again for using it. It's just a very good descriptive word for somebody that believes in flat Earth right now.
So Gary brings it up. What is your stance on it?
I haven't seen the Earth, so I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm half retarded. Sorry. Can't say. I don't know. So J-Lo.
Yeah.
I'm stuck with a flat Earth. So the Earth is flat. What's at the edges? You just fall off.
I've
seen both sides, and I just can't.
You just go around to Australia because it's fucking round.
I think
So the claim is there's an ice wall, like Game of Thrones, right, that surrounds the entire Earth, and there might be other civilizations on the outside of the ice wall. Do I believe it? Not really, but I'm the type that I have to see it, and if it makes sense when I see it for myself, then I'll entertain it. But I haven't seen it for myself.
so. Have you been in an airplane
Yeah.
and you're 40,000 feet up, and you look out? What do you see?
A slight curvature.
Straight.
No,
through.
you see a curvature.
A slight
There's a slight
curvature.
curve.
I've never seen the curve.
You've
I've never seen the
curve?
curve. No, I just see my vision stop.
Yeah.
I've seen a slight curve.
So it's funny though, because the other day we were driving down Redland, and I'm like, dude, I can see clear as day to the water towers in Live Oak.
How far is that?
That's got to be at least 10 miles.
So when I was in the Navy, I was in SATCOM. I did satellite communications, and when we talked about line of sight over the horizon, it was 13 miles. So that would actually still
So
prove the curvature theory as well.
So satellite. How do you have a satellite and a flat Earth?
does this little
It
number.
doesn't track.
They do this. I mean, it could still go under a flat Earth. I'm not arguing. I'm not going. I'm
it
not
could go
saying,
under, where like South America
flat part,
and Australia and.
But I mean, wouldn't that kind of prove flat Earth though? Because when we're talking about actual communications, it's line of sight.
I love
right?
how triggered this is.
No,
I know. I just
just for clarification, I went to school. I don't believe the Earth is round.
It's like, how do we get stuck on this again? I feel like somebody put some acid in this coffee again.
Thank you, Javi. Is it Javi or Javi? Javi.
Hobby. This is
Coffee
San Antonio. It's
concentrate.
hobby.
But if the Earth was round, I mean, you're talking satellite signals, right?
Yeah.
So if the Earth was round, everything shoots in a straight line.
Right.
So how would
It
it know?
can refract and reflect, just depending on the frequency band. But
Right, but what is it refracting and reflecting on? If it's around Earth.
it could refract off water, it could refract off mountains, atmosphere. Yeah, it just depends on the strength of the signal. But again, I mean, if you want to,
I'm saying
like,
straight
this was
line.
a mistake.
I'm a computer science major. So
Yeah, me too. That's crazy.
I got a bachelor's in software engineering.
Yeah,
So I'm
emerging tech,
I'm
emerging
a tech,
flat Earth, John.
It's if you understand how comms work and you understand how the world of digital works, a round Earth doesn't prove that works. It just doesn't. It's just facts.
The argument is compelling on both ends.
Yeah.
And so my thing, I didn't really buy into flat Earth at all until
I still don't.
the dude that, like this, where I was like, I'm a little curious now. But like the guy that owns Virgin Mobile took a buddy up, billionaires, right? Took a buddy up at the highest point, and then when they came down, this buddy that he took up just mysteriously dies. So anybody that has like any sort of witness proof of that might be to the contrary, they just happen to die. So I'm trying to figure out, like, why are these people just randomly dying?
That's a good question.
What did they see, and why would they just...
But there's a bunch of people that have gone.
There's a lot of people up in the people
Did
out
you
in
hear?
space.
Yeah, but did you hear? Not related to the Earth, kind of changing a little bit of topics here, but same topic, different story.
The moon?
The eight doctors that just recently died in an airplane crash in Brazil, who were stated to have a cure for cancer or have been studying the cure for cancer.
Oh, Big Pharma took him out. There's no doubt about that.
And there was
I have zero. But we're way off flat Earth now.
way more obvious.
But
than
that's-
flat
No
Earth
problem with that.
conjecture.
Whistleblowers for Boeing,
There was a lawyer on there as well.
The suicide themselves is always an interesting one, but I have no problem believing stuff
But
like
people
that.
that find out something different than what we're presented die.
And there's just such a long pattern of these things happening.
Oh yeah, and definitely don't come up with technology to power a car with water, because you'll end up.
Yeah, what happened with
suicided.
that? We were like super close to solving that. And then,
Oh no!
Every
They have
single
every single person that has solved that has like ended up suicided.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like, oh wow, that's crazy. Like maybe I don't need to come up with that. 'Cause-
Possibly not. Yeah. But I mean, on the same aspect too, is like what happened with hydrogen, right? Hydrogen powered vehicles. What happened with vegetable oil powered vehicles? I remember back in the day, growing up, watching Robin Big, or I think that's what it was, and he had a little Pinto that was powered off of vegetable oil or grease.
My favorite still is water, because you can get a shit ton of water in all sorts of places.
Was that towards the latter part of that show?
I believe so.
And then Big dies?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Here we go.
Weird.
Maybe Big was a
Yeah,
flat earther.
I can get down with I can get down with that one.
that was easy.
Yeah.
But
Big oil, big pharma.
again,
They're
you find
definitely-
you find out the alternate perspective of what's reality, and you die.
Yeah, I mean that's my stance. I'm not saying flat earthers real. I question everything now. Maybe I'm just traumatized by the last 10 years of my life.
Well, it is kind of sad that you turn on the news and you know you're being fed propaganda.
Absolutely.
And you're just
On
like,
both
wow.
sides, absolutely.
Both sides.
Both sides. Like, because
100%.
I can't watch either.
You can't.
Like, I can't watch Fox, can't watch CNN. I turn it on, I'm like, dude, quit trying to tell me what to
What
fucking think.
if you put them both at the same time, listen in the middle, does it balance out?
No,
And
no,
there may be some
because
truth there?
no, because it's like this one has a crackpot agenda going this way. This one has a crackpot agenda just kind of going this way, and you're just kind of like, man, like none of this shit makes any sense. And I know that like I should probably watch some of it because I'd almost rather be misinformed than not informed at all. But you're just like, I don't really know where to get something that's solid.
That's credible.
You know,
well,
like,
besides the Bible, and that's another conversation.
It must be something with us science guys.
Yeah, I mean,
because I tell Mike and John every time something comes up that's conspiracy or controversial that without question, science doesn't exist. Science is meant to be questioned. So how do we know we have it right the first time?
And that's where COVID got it all
don't.
jacked up. Like COVID said, trust the science. And at the end of the day, the point of science is to not trust it. It's to always question it.
Right.
Word.
especially the COVID science.
Well, gee, I don't know. The 6-foot rule just kind of came out of nowhere.
So I was
So if you put cloth masks on, it's totally gonna protect you, dude. I see people now with them. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you doing?
while driving.
Oh
on.
God!
I'm saving lives.
I remember those days. People are in their cars driving with their masks on.
There is a guy on TikTok that has a channel dedicated to maskers, and he goes around and finds them at like the gas pumps, and he's like, "Hey, bro, fresh air is not gonna kill you." They're just like, he's like,
It's a
"What'd you
fear
say?"
thing, man. Like we're just lost. We're in
Yeah.
a fallen world, man. I was a 32-year-old Navy veteran taking theater classes at college in San Antonio, and I had no idea. I was doing this because I wanted to learn how to. I saw a documentary called "We Are Not Done Yet" on HBO, and I saw what it did for veterans. Just theater therapy, 30 days of it. People that had it way worse than I did. Mind-boggling changes. So I go and did theater. I did not know that was a liberal
Oh.
Liberal arts.
scene.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like there would just be radically liberal kids, 18 to 20-year-olds. They're feeding these kids. They're telling these kids to hate the military. That the military are just like soldiers for capitalism and fascism. And so I go in there and I'm automatically hated. The first week of COVID, we're putting on masks and I'm looking around and like I asked the teacher like, why are we doing this? We're all still getting sick. And this girl looks over to me and she says, "It is people like you that are gonna kill my grandmother." Started crying in class. And then, dude, two weeks later, I got reported.
I'm gonna pop your bubble, bitch. Your grandma gonna die, and that's because all of us die at some point. And if a little cold's gonna kill her, a little cold's gonna kill her.
So that shit was actually heavier than a little cold, I will say.
Oh no, COVID was. I mean, like there's a lot of people. Like,
It was neurologically shitty.
Oh, for
right.
sure. Well, yeah, and I do know several people that died of it.
That's because it was genetically engineered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
I
lot.
completely agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. It was,
And that was
bioweapon.
science.
That was science that made that bad daddy.
Yeah, and then like everybody that claimed that or showed connected the pattern were labeled crazy conspiracy theorists. Fast forward 4 years. Oh my gosh! It was made in a lab. It's man-made. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness! Like, and nobody like what? Can I get an apology from somebody?
Oh no.
Can I get an apology? For trying to tell y'all to not be so fearful.
It's the Kung Flu.
That kung flu.
I love that one.
But the craziest part about it, not to go into politics, was that a certain somebody wanted to shut our doors and restrict travel, which would have probably mitigated a lot of what would have happened or what did happen. But he got called
Racist.
no, he got called a xenophobe
Oh, a xenophobe.
because it was from China.
What exactly is a xenophobe again?
So it's a big word, but it's
Have you seen Xenoprincess Warrior?
Well, yeah. The definition of xenophobe, in my interpretation, means that you're against a specific race.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't like Mexicans, or you don't like Africans, or whatever it might be.
Okay.
And that was the Chinese, right? So the Chinese, we wanted to shut our doors. They called him a xenophobe, blocked him from everything he was doing. And then it was like, oh my God, everybody's dying. You should have done more. Well, I tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was an uncertain time for a lot of people. It was uncharted waters. We'd never been through anything like that other than the Spanish flu and what was the other one? The black plague.
Did you ever read Rainbow Six?
I've never read that.
Played it.
So Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy brought this group of elites that create this virus, and they're going to unleash it on the world to reduce the population so we can get back to buffalo roaming the earth and blah, 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 back to nature. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That was written a long time ago, but...
You know when my eyes were open to the whole like globalist agendas when I was stationed in Augusta, Georgia. They had these two massive tablets that resemble the 10 Commandments. You could look it up. And they basically have like 10 rules, or I think it's 10 rules that are supposed to be a sustainable way to go forward with the earth. And they got graffitied and vandalized and all that stuff, but they're huge, right? And they actually one of them got blown up, I think a couple years back. But I actually wanted to go check that out. But when I saw it, I was like, what are these two random stones doing in the middle of Georgia? What's going on here? And so that's when I started looking into different things, and I try to hold back on these crazy speculations about what's going on in the world. But then crazy happened. So where do we go from here? COVID was, regardless of the serious or lack of seriousness of it, it was a traumatizing time for everybody. I truly think COVID was an attack on the middle class, more importantly than anything. I think the middle class of America and the power that it has because of real estate is what's defending the free world from the globalist goals. Right. And then so what happened during COVID? They shut down businesses, and all these middle class businesses who didn't have the liquidity to sustain themselves through these times went out of business or went further into debt with PPP loans. And now when we came back out of it, they still went out of business. And, I feel like,
it was all of it was for almost every bit of the PPP loans. If you used it correctly, they were forgiven. And there was some forgiveness on, and I'm going to get it wrong, but the other loan, economic disaster relief loan or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the ones that aren't, though, it was at like a freaking 0.5% interest rate over, you could finance it over like 20 years or something like that. So I really like. All the businesses now, what fucked up all the businesses is the fact that when the supply chain got fucked up, they can't sustain, like restaurants couldn't sustain, like
you got no food to serve.
30x markups.
Yeah.
Nope. And that was tragic. Yep. It's like just the supply chain getting all messed up. Yep. And that's it. Like in insurance, that's like literally there was 32 regional carriers that were taking business in Texas that are gone. Like there's 2 or 3 of those regional carriers left from 2019 to today because they just couldn't increase their, and I'm talking about home insurance companies, they couldn't increase their pricing fast enough when the typical claim was $20,000. Now it's $80,000 because lumber just shot up, this shot up, like everything shot up, and these contractors are quadrupling their pricing, and so it's like, oh shit, we were charging $1,000 for that policy because average claim about $20,000 for that water claim. Now it's 60, now it's 80, and they just all had they went insolvent. Yep.
But what you would have thought was a temporary inflation became permanent.
Transitory,
yeah.
and it is crazy too to see how incorrect their percentages are.
Oh my Lord!
You know what I mean? It's just like you're like, what? No, like
I just bought a gallon of milk for $8.
Well, like a perfect example is the perfect example is a freaking plastic, the plastic forks, right? At HEB, I used to always buy plastic forks.
They were like 99 cents.
They're 99 cents. Now they're $1.16. And you're just kind of like, wait a second.
Yeah.
It's not like, I do have an MBA. And I can do a little maths.
Doesn't check out.
A little bit of math.
And that's 60% markup.
No, it's only 3%.
Yeah, but you're telling me 4.5.
As long as you want to eat, drive, or live in a house, inflation doesn't matter.
But kind of going back to your point about it being an attack on the middle class, I always tell people, what is the one thing that the wealthy have in common?
A lot of money.
They have a lot of money, but they also own a lot of real estate. So if you want to keep people from getting richer,
Keep them from buying homes.
Keep them from buying
land.
homes.
The land, technically.
You'll own nothing and like it.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty astonishing to drive around 1604 and just see all the apartment complexes going up. And I'm just like, dude, buy a home.
Yeah.
Like if you wanna build wealth and even build generational wealth, buy a home, sit on that home, rent that home out, buy another home, build your way up. Because a lot of the people that are wealthy that we look at nowadays and want to, be as wealthy as, they own real estate. They started with real estate.
Yep.
They didn't go and just start up $1 million business that magically overnight was a hit. Like, they bought a house, built equity. They probably took a HELOC or an equity line of credit out to started a business, owned a home, built more equity, and just continued growing from there.
That's definitely my goal. I want to be debt free.
Right.
Have land and real estate, man. That's really the only place I want to be. I don't want anything else but just some of that.
Well, I mean, and land's going up in price too. Land's
They're not making money anymore.
You combine that with the insurance costs and people getting dropped from insurance.
So start insurance people.
I know those insurance people are eye gouging.
You know what they say? Julius Caesar said a long time ago.
Give the Caesar what is Caesar.
You live long enough as the hero, you watch yourself become the villain, right? Because I'm just like, man, like that fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah, and we have a lot of shitty drivers here in San
Amen to
Antonio.
that, brother.
So our insurance is high.
In insurance, it's just especially here in Texas, it is such a complicated issue because the auto insurance side. I mean, I was sitting through a class the other day. And just the amount of lawsuits, right? It's mind-blowing. So the amount of lawsuits 3 years ago was 2.3% of our GDP. And you're just like, holy shit.
Why don't we cap that?
Like $430 billion was paid out in lawsuits. You know
Just
what I mean?
in the state of Texas.
No.
Oh, that's nationwide.
Nationwide. Yeah, but you're just kind of like, holy shit. Georgia was the most litigious state, I believe. But you're just kind of like, oh shit. Like, this is why when you're like looking at your progressive policy or your Geico policy or whoever, and you're like, well, I don't know, I didn't get into an accident, and why I'm paying $250 a month for one car, and you're like, yeah,
that's because somebody called the force.
That's because that jackwagon on TV literally is telling you that he's collected billions of dollars for people over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, well, Thomas J. Henry, huge billboard. I collected $1 billion over the last 4 years, so that means he made $333 million.
Dude, and you know what else is even crazier? There are funds that all they do is invest in lawsuits.
So are you saying that the insurance problem is Thomas J. Henry's fault?
He is single-handedly
injured in a car accident.
Insurance availability.
I'm saying
settlements. Why would they not go after it?
That is definitely an avenue of why that is so expensive.
I think we need legislation.
Fuck you, Thomas J. Henry.
But in the same breath, another reason, like car theft doubled last year in San Antonio.
I got broken into 2 weeks ago behind
the
wheel.
It's like literally, like, dude, there's just like it doubled year over year, and just kind of like, oh shit, like, but that would be why. Like, it goes up is because when
do you have to drive a truck?
Yeah,
that's why. See,
Yeah.
Well, the other part
breaking here.
The other part to that too is we have more expensive vehicles on the roads nowadays.
That's another reason.
I mean, your average car is like $30,000.
Why do you need a Cybertruck? Like, what the heck?
What
to run stuff over?
Because you like to look retarded.
You like a boat.
But yeah, and then you're right though. A bumper that was $500 like 5, 6 years, 7 years ago, maybe, is now with all the sensors, everything else. It's like, dude, that's a $3,000 bumper.
You know, they're taking taillights now because they cost like $4,000 because the cameras inside of it. I'm serious.
I'm just gonna take one part of this car.
My taillight. It's like cracked, and I can't. I have a 2007.
Oh damn!
Yeah, they're not. They can't fix it because they can't find the parts.
Wow. I remember when Cadillac converters were the
catalytic.
Yeah,
that was last year. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing it.
That was a thing way on in 2024 January.
Now I'm coming out. My bumper's gone. My tailgate's gone, but my truck's still there.
All right, I'm gonna pop a Great Value Zen real quick.
It's like, thanks.
It's a Kirkland signature.
But yeah,
you guys want some on? No,
I'm good.
I don't know what that is. No,
it's a coffee flavored Zen. You haven't confessed and repented of your sins
I
lately?
don't even know what that is.
Your Zens.
No?
It's
I don't need to get hooked
it's
on
a little
anything,
nicotine pouch.
No, I'm definitely out.
But yeah, and then you couple that with like just the what the fuck catastrophes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, that's why they're getting slaughtered.
What about the upcoming cyber pandemic that Klaus Schwab has warned us about? There will be a cyber pandemic that will make COVID look like a minor inconvenience.
And we know it's coming
End
because
quote.
when you go like small business insurance, right? We've been looking at it. On there is a cyber protection now, so we know it's coming.
That man's Satan, by the way.
Yeah, he's part of it. He's at the
I
table
didn't
with
like
him.
you.
Yeah, they have dinner together for sure.
It's gonna
What
be-
kind of dinner do you
and
think
we-
they have?
and we
What do they
sell-
have for dessert?
we
They
sell
seem
Souls
like-
of
cyber
virgins.
insurance
Who
also.
knows?
Oh, just for a regular like a personal policy.
Well, no, for businesses. Like,
business.
I mean, like we have a policy for that
Right.
too. Yeah, I mean, just because it's a legit threat. It's
cyber
like-
theft and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
But
Yeah, it's great.
it's funny though
And
because
just Social Security numbers just got
They just-
fucking
yeah.
jack like crazy.
I got to notice. It's like you're probably one of the 2.9 billion
Billion
files.
people.
Yeah,
they
probably.
said everybody on
Everybody.
this earth, their social security is gone.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I watched a guy talk about that, and I mean TikTok is crazy. Like there's some wild things on there.
There is.
But his claim was that part of the reason why social security numbers were hacked is because now it's easier for the government to try and sell the human population on a digital card.
Yeah, it's been the plan the whole time.
Right.
Digital ID. It's the
Digital-
mark of the
you gotta-
beast,
you gotta
man.
get it
Revolution has been
planted.
talking about
You
this
got to
for
get
ages.
planted so nobody could steal your stuff unless they steal you and take your arm or whatever.
We are in an unprecedented time of technology. Like they've been giving away phones throughout like the entire world for the past decade, and it's for a reason. We're gonna get tied down to some blockchain. I mean, it's gloom and doom, but whatever.
It's so funny because you see like videos that are viral of people like super excited to be like, check this out, I can pay with my wrist,
Amazon.
and you're like,
Yeah.
no, that's not cool.
That's in San Antonio now, I think. Yeah, you can just pay with your thumbprint. Just do this and it scans
I
biometrics.
haven't even set up the wallet on my phone. That just kind of freaks me out. It's like, no, I have,
Face ID freaks me out. I haven't done
I
Face
have the
ID.
George Costanza wallet in my pocket right here.
I pay with cash.
I have a wallet.
Do you sit with a lean? 'Cause
No,
I-
it's always in my front pocket.
Yeah. So let me put you on some.
You and I are in the prehistoric
What the
times
heck is that thing?
because I'm still paying with
What
my
is that?
$2
with my
$2
$2 bills.
Yes.
What, is that your lucky one? You actually use that?
I actually looking at that.
Look at those.
You- what do you-
baby.
Is that a conversation piece?
I didn't realize how rich Ernest
It's
was.
a conversation. Mug him, get him.
He's got cash money.
I actually don't feel as bad about my wallet after seeing
Look at
this.
that.
Yeah. Well, because like the
You
the
never
couple of
know when
guys
you're gonna
over
have to
the office-
just beat somebody
Yeah.
upside the head with the metal.
That's one way to do it.
A couple of guys always make fun of me with the wallet because James has like 2 cards on his phone, and same thing with Eric. And I'm like, well,
I don't get why people hold their cards on their phones, especially. But it's probably got RF protector on that. I'm assuming. No.
Surprisingly. I mean, I am the type, but no, this does not have RF protector.
You know what RF is?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. Mike's looking at it.
You
But-
dumb ass, you know what
You
the RF stuff
retard.
is?
I'm waiting for John's retard. But no, it's crazy how many people carry their cards on the back of their phones, and then they'll be at like the checkout just with their phone like this, and I'm like, dude, all somebody needs is an RF scanner, and
Yeah, that's true.
all your stuff is gone.
Yeah. Well, I have a main bank account where I get my payment, and then I will like give myself an allowance to the other card. So if anybody were to break into that card,
Yeah.
they're not getting shit. That card perpetually stays at like under $100.
I don't blame you.
I just use
Cash.
a credit card or two that I mean.
Well, so I've been mortgaged. I have no money, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just
Yeah, we used to have money, but now it's
Yeah.
I use the strategy of always spending my money so
Yeah.
that I don't have any for them to take.
It's like, try to take that shit, bitches. Take my social.
350 credit
Take my
score.
social. You see if you can get a loan on that shit.
People freak out when they come over to my house and they try to connect to the Wi-Fi because it says Mexican hacker.
Do you have $2
On it?
$2 bills framed in your living room? No.
No. So the story behind the $2 bills is I use them, like you were saying, as conversation starters. Like when we go through the coffee line or when we're out eating at a restaurant, like I'll leave a stack of $2 bills as a tip, and people.
Where do you get those?
Huh?
Where do you get them?
The bank.
Which bank do you bank at?
I can't tell you.
Because I've tried, like, I've lost numerous
I will
bets
tell you offline.
where I had to pay in $2 bills, and it took me months to accumulate, like, my 20 $2 bills.
Yeah, no, I go in there and I'll get
Just
the
tell them about Lone Star National Bank, okay?
Lone Star National Bank. But no, I'll go in there and I'll get like I'll go in there every week and get like $100 in $2 bills, and then we'll get about $50 in the gold coins, the little gold dollars.
Nice.
And we'll leave those for people.
Lone Star National Bank sounds like it has a Taco Cabana in it.
I did have.
There's actually one right up the street. Yeah.
That's a great
I
idea.
did have a waitress ask us one day. She goes, "How do you know you're not giving me
$1,000
tip?" I go, "I don't."
Oh, yeah.
She's like, "You don't check them before you give them out?" I go, "No."
Nope.
If I give you $1,000 tip, that's a blessing to you.
Yeah.
You know.
I usually just give an inch tip.
There it is. All right, so let's move on to our topics for the day.
We could skip that first one. Let's hit on that on SABOR hiring compliance officers.
Oh, yeah. So I got it on a good authority that SABOR has hired compliance officers. And to give you a tip of who told me, it is actually, I refer to her as the Queen of Bernie. She's a great friend of mine, awesome realtor out there. But I wanted to actually kind of bring this up because I just want to kind of put people on game that if you're with a title company that isn't actually looking out for your best interest in the regard of giving you free things in order to acquire your business, you might want to brush up on P53 and RESPA to protect yourself. SABOR is not only hiring compliance officers just for the NAR settlement, but we are reaching a desperation point or breaking point in San Antonio where people are desperate for business and willing to do whatever it takes. And P53 actually ties in RESPA, which is where a realtor can essentially lose their livelihood. I will tell you, the I didn't know argument never works. Having come from the Navy, I've been in complacent situations where, I'll give a specific example. In 2009, spice was becoming a big thing in the military, basically fake weed. And
Mike's like, "Oh,
Spice? What is spice?"
Yeah, so kids would actually
synthetic weed.
like smoke out.
He said spice. I was like, man, I love
no,
like,
not-
you
You
know,
need some
not a
20
regular.
I am. If you ain't sneakers,
Goes
you
down
ain't
for
season.
Carolina
They
Reaper.
really
Bring it,
ripped
man.
on pizza. But no, they would hotbox their spice, come from the store, and then come on base, and then the gate guard would stop them, and the gate guard was like, what are you guys doing? You can't do this. And they're like, oh, it's legal, bro. You can't get in trouble for this. So that then that went up to big Navy, and then after a couple years, there was a culling. And everybody thought they were good until the culling happened. And when the culling happened, people started snitching. It's like, oh, I don't want to go down alone. So this person did it, this person did it, this person did it. And that's how it just unravels in a snowball effect of just dominoes, whatever metaphor you want to use. And so I feel like we're being set up, and not set up, but it's just a familiar pattern that I'm noticing. So get brushed up on your law. Know the environment, the atmosphere, what's going on, and just do business the right way, and you're going to be okay.
It's kind of like steroids
Yeah.
in baseball.
Except let them.
Oh, for sure. I'm right there with you. We've had this conversation. Get all of the professionals.
If they want to juice, hit it.
Jacked as much as possible.
Please.
I just want to see some awesome.
It is not
I want to
easy.
see some home runs.
It's not easy hitting 105 mile per hour fastball.
I was seeing caught at the
Well, if you haven't seen it, go research it. It's called enhanced sporting games, and they're basically, we talked about this one episode, but they're essentially going to let people get juiced.
It's
to
encouraged.
play like pickleball or what?
Well, no, I mean they're going to do like aquatics, track and field. They're going to do
see how fast you can actually
MMA.
be.
They're going to do
Fucking
MMA
awesome.
and boxing.
They're like, so the old world record, yeah, stupid 9 seconds on the 100. Watch this shit. This guy got it in 7.
We're about to blow your mind. They should put just like an average person
heart did
on the
explode,
line
though.
with
Yeah.
these dudes that are jacked.
His heart did,
Just
his
to
heart did
see
explode. Just so
like
we're
the
clear.
performance gap.
It doesn't interest me. I want to see it in like the XFL.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I want
Guys doing
Blitz.
hits popping up.
Yeah.
I want Blitz in real life. You remember NFL Blitz?
Yes.
Where there's like body slamming dudes and like drop clicking dudes. Like that would be legit.
I'm not even seeing XFL. I want to see in the NFL. And they need to just go ahead and be like, all the pansy rules we just made, we're going to undo it and play it like we played in the 80s.
Well,
So,
they say like 50% of the players in the NFL are planning on wearing their Guardian caps. I don't know if you've seen them
Really?
yet or not, but
in real football?
in NFL.
I
It's going to be a
got
high number of players
my
wearing
little
those.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, wearing those sponges on their head.
It's,
I don't know. I don't like seeing people get hurt. So
I don't either, but it kind of comes with the sport, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Well, yeah, you never want to see somebody get hurt. But,
it's like when you were a kid, you're like.
but you definitely want to see that fucking awesome-ass tackle.
yeah.
It's like when we were kids, they've told us, "Hey, don't play smear the you know what because you're gonna get hurt."
Smear the
Mike,
what?
you want to say it?
smear the queer.
That was my favorite game.
But we still played it. I mean, we got hurt, but we still played it.
You guys ever call all time queer?
Oh.
It's just me.
Never heard that one. Hold on.
Just me.
my mic over here.
It's contagious.
All-time
It's
queer.
contagious.
Contagious.
Hey, careful. We got Mpox going around over here.
All right. Well, we're on crap.
But
Oh, we got far afield from SABOR hiring compliance officers.
so those compliance officers are going to go out and look at agents breaking that rule. You want to explain what that rule is? A little in detail.
Which part of so the P53 part of it? So essentially, if you're getting marketing material from your title company, and they're printing it off for you, something as simple as that. And I have this on good authority from Cass Burton, who's the regulatory and compliance officer for Alliant underwriter, and he basically wrote the book on P53. He's done videos, seminars on it through TLTA and whatnot, and I have had several conversations with him because I look around and coming from working for a woman-owned mom and pop shop, essentially just one building, and competing with all of these other massive companies with shareholders and just whatever comes with that. We don't have margin to break the rules.
Right.
We can't take that risk, and I have complete loyalty and doing the right thing for my boss and the company and the brand. But when I hear that I'm losing a client because of, oh well, my other title company will print some marketing materials for my open house, and then I tell them, hey man, I can't do that, and here's why, and you can get in trouble for that, and then they're like, oh, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but Gary, honestly, that motherfucker does fucking 2 deals a year. Fuck him.
Yeah,
I'm being serious. Like if you literally are leaving me for fucking printing paper, like,
don't
go
have a
fuck yourself.
printer at home. So I know somebody also that's a mover and shaker that's getting money to do marketing videos, and they don't want to leave that company because that title company is paying for their marketing videos, right? Like it's happening with big movers and shakers. It's happening with the lower end folks. Like there's no discrimination really, you know what I'm saying? So just like I don't, at the end of the day, if you're not going to do business with my company, it's completely fine. Everybody's not for everybody. But what I don't want to see is title companies doing whatever it takes to get the business, and then some realtor that loses their livelihood, something they've done for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, because their title company just didn't tell them, like, at least tell them a narrative, right? Like, okay, well, we're not doing this, we're doing it, but we're not doing it.
Yeah.
This is how we're getting it. This is what the story is, right? Like, if you're going to break the rules, you got to know them, right? If you're going to bend the rules, you got to know them. Don't be jeopardizing people's lives just to get their business without telling them how you need to defend them.
You see,
know
but
what I'm
that's
saying?
been the history of real estate agents.
And that's why they're hiring compliance officers.
I think it goes further. I mean, Mike and I have talked about this. The whole NAR lawsuit. Here goes my conspiracy hat, my tinfoil radar is going up.
I'm so ready for this.
I think there's a bigger player
Agreed.
in the field of these lawsuits,
Globalists.
these compliance officers,
Globalists.
and it starts with a Z. I think either a Z or a even somebody higher, even bigger.
Why did I just think Zelensky?
I think they want to get rid of real estate agents. Like
in Ukraine, bro.
God damn it! It's going back to Ukraine.
tentacles
Come on,
everywhere.
Joe Biden.
Sorry for using the GD. My bad. My bad.
Did you see that part where Joe refers to?
No, Zelensky is Putin.
Yeah, that was when he was like, okay, he's hanging it up now.
But I think there's bigger players in the field here. I don't think it's just sellers caught wind of we didn't have to pay the 3% or whatever it was. Like,
I think we talked about this before, though. Could you imagine being an attorney and being like, yeah, they're price fixing. Let's go ahead and sue them. Like, I mean, we're still going to get our third. We're still going to get our 33.3. But like, let's go after that 3% though for sure.
but if you look into that lawsuit, there was no physical evidence even provided for the outcome that was brought. There was no emails between sellers, no text messages between sellers and agents were presented. There was no like factual evidence or hard copy evidence that they could go, yeah, this is price fixing.
So my conspiracy theory with all that was that it's funny because we touched on the whole like middle class being attacked during COVID. I felt like what they didn't take into account when they tried to attack middle class business owners are realtors. And that sounds crazy, but if you look further into it, and just like you said,
Yeah.
these unprecedented rules that they put on, it's directly going after realtors' livelihoods and taking them out of the game.
It is.
Who did the most business
In COVID, it's realtors.
in middle class during COVID? Realtors.
And loan officers.
And loan officers. Y'all
are
went-
next.
And I'm so they
no,
they're next.
they've
They've been there. No, but I am so happy that those days are over, because it was frustrating to sit down with just like somebody that really deserves the Bill Miller job on the fry on the like dropping fries, maybe dropping
sold
some
3
chicken,
houses this month.
and it's just like, yeah. So if you want to go ahead and take me out to lunch, and you're just like, dude, have you ever taken a sales class, you fucktard? You're like,
You know what's funny is fucktard is less offensive than retard.
I do think that we need to have less professionals in the space.
Yeah.
But
I personally think they should make the shit harder.
they should.
You make the shit harder, you weed out a lot of dumb fucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
it used to be, and I know like Texas, right? Because I'm licensed in the state of Washington and the state of Texas, and in Texas, in order for me to get my license and consider it reciprocalcy, I had to either just do the course all out, or B, use my college background, right? Like, so I, in my personal preference, would like to see a college education be required, because not only are you dealing with law, but you're dealing with math.
Yeah.
Like, you should hear some of the questions I've gotten from agents who are trying to provide a seller with a seller net sheet. And they're like, how do I break this down? Like, they can't do the simplest
it's
of
fourth
math.
grade math.
If you're having a hard time doing a net sheet, get with Succession Title. We will get you Palm Agent Access, otherwise known as Succession Title Agent 1, the easiest net sheet creator in all of the land.
I mean, if you're having a problem with that sheet, please don't sell real estate.
But I mean, but that was the stigma that agents had, is like, oh, I don't have anything else to do. Let me go become a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Or I want my own schedule. Let me become a real estate agent. Well, news flash for you. You don't get your own schedule.
I mean, I know I have good friends in the business that'll go to strip clubs and recruit. It's a great strategy, honestly.
It's a write-off business expense.
It is. Dollar bill, yeah. So where do you see that going? Where do you hires compliance officers? That's happening by the end of this quarter, I'm assuming, if not already. Compliance officers are going to start putting the hammer down on some of these agents that are out there getting a bunch of free stuff and not paying their fair share, which is what RESPA is ultimately about, right?
That's assuming they do their job.
Yeah, let's assume they do their job. But the whole thing's a cash grab, my opinion. Like, why do I got to be part of SABOR to be part of NAR? Why can't I be part of NAR and not be part of
Why is NAR still a
SABOR?
business? Why is there not a massive uprising?
And why do I have to, in order to join SABOR, be part of NAR? Like,
It's a mafia.
it is. It's the
mafia.
It's the mafia. I tell
One of the
you.
most profitable businesses in the history of America, the mafias.
Right. Well, I mean, just think of the takeover that could happen. It's like, oh, hey, we're the MLS. We can do what we want. We don't want any more agents affiliated with NAR because of y'all's lawsuit.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Zillow just filed their application to become a full-time brokerage here.
So rewinding a little bit, I want to talk about the roundtable, just a hypothetical situation when they did COVID and they didn't account for realtors, and they're sitting at the table with David. You got or Satan. You got Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates, and they're just sitting there. And
Bill's like, when can we have pregnant men? When can this happen?
You got Bill Clinton at the table with Monica Lewinsky under it, Hillary sitting right next to him.
Everybody's got their little person under the table. Oh my God, Klaus is gross.
But yeah, I mean, they did forget about realtors, and I mean, a lot of realtors are struggling right now out there. Their deals have come to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
And
December and January was tough for us.
It's getting rough out there.
Yeah.
I think if SABOR does what they're going to do, they're going to find a lot of agents doing some stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
A little less doom and gloom, though, I really think is good for the industry. It sucks right now, right?
I'm worried about the next step. I agree with you.
It sucks right now, but having some people that probably shouldn't be doing this in the first place get out. Same thing with the loan officers. Same thing with the realtors.
Yeah.
Having them get out is going to end up being a much better thing 4 or 5 years from now.
The whole crazy part about this, though, is it focused strictly on realtors, right? Mm-hmm. Where now what I'm seeing with new construction, the builder reps and stuff like that, dude, it's nuts. It's hey, buyer, come to us, and instead of paying an agent, paying an agent
2-1 buy down, 3.99% on a
we're
new
going to
build.
give you $10,000 in seller paid credits up front with 4%, and we're going to give you it's nuts. If they want to go after somebody next, they should go after the builder incentive to not use or hire somebody to represent them who looks after their best interests.
Yeah, I've heard too many stories of a builder just kind of using marketing tactics to cut out the agent and then to get their client alone so that they can work directly with them and cut out. And I feel like the buyer's agreement does protect that.
Right.
But people, if they're not adhering to that,
maybe builders are outside
savage.
the law. I mean, they have their own set of rules.
They're above
they can steer
right
their lenders.
They have their own lobbyists. I mean,
that's very true. They have their own. Yeah.
They have a very strong lobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
But it's the Wild West. And I mean, I've even seen it to now where since the lawsuit, there's some chatter that builders are now going to not pay, let's say, a buyer's agent if they had that BAC in place with the buyer, so long as that buyer's already logged in that builder's books for the last 3 years. So if they went in there 3 years ago and they're in their books and they signed a BAC with an agent this year, they're not going to honor that BAC with that buyer because it's pre their time.
Do you know if the Texas ledge already passed that protection against foreign entities buying up massive amounts of land in Texas yet?
We need that.
I know that was proposed. I just don't know if it was actually passed.
I know it's proposed.
That needs to be a thing. That is federal.
I know China bought 400,000 acres in Arizona or something.
Arizona,
crazy.
I think Mississippi. They already took over Canada. It's crazy, man.
I saw a statistic
right by military bases. And
odd how that happened.
That said China owns 7 or 10% of inhabited land in the U.S. soil.
Holy crap!
Yeah, they own quite a bit. It's scary. Who's to say they don't just put a military base over there for themselves and get ready for something?
If people were smart, they would look up Chinese owners in Georgia and then just go live on there since nobody's there. Because I think after 2 years, you can just claim it. Yeah, you can squat and claim it in 2 years.
And just to put this out there, there's nothing against Chinese. This is just us talking about
but they're not
China owning land.
They're not our friend.
We can't own land in China.
Well, I'm a firm believer that legal immigration makes America great.
Right.
It's the theory of the melting pot. We need that. We need that diversity, that culture, that inclusivity. It's just when we start opening borders and letting traffickers and murderers and people don't, like, in this bubble that we live in this first world country, we don't actually acknowledge the amount of evil in the world. If you want to know what evil sounds like, go listen to some Navy SEALs talk about how terrorists will literally barricade themselves into rooms with women and children so that SEALs can't throw grenades in there. But SEALs still have to. They don't know if there's women and children in there, and they hear like what they just did.
And they use children as their bombs.
Yeah, that's
suicide missions.
True evil, and it's and we're letting that in.
What I don't get is, and this is my only 2 cents, people coming from foreign countries that are socialistic, that are running and fleeing from that, coming and supporting the same idea that they ran from.
So I don't think. Yeah, I was going to say I don't.
Californians in Texas.
It's not them. It's
I gotta
really,
try this.
That's last week's. This is this week's.
Oh,
it's really not them. It's our own citizens that are They're leaving their crappy political situations and bringing pridefully. It's a pride problem. You're blinded by your own political identity, and you bring that bullshit to a new place, a new beautiful place,
and start again.
It's
a virus.
Mean tweets. Oh my God.
you hurt my feelings.
Fuck feelings.
Happy Gilmore 2. I know that's a great transition.
When's it being released?
I believe in October.
I'm actually super excited. This is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a top 5 movie for me, probably. Top 10. I like a lot of movies.
The whole like beef between Bill with Happy Gilmore and Shooter McGavin. Adam Sandler was at the golf course, and he hit it, and he runs up to the camera and goes, "What do you think now? Somebody's closer."
Adam Sandler's living my dream life. Like, I wish I could just go anywhere in basketball shorts and a button-up and just be accepted. Hey, man, dude, what's up? Like, imagine doing that as a title rep.
I would be in his friends list because all his movies have the same actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably my dream in life.
Have you ever seen him actually play basketball though? Like he's
a
legit.
hooper. He's a hooper.
He's a baller, dude. I watched him playing in New York, and the guys were like, "Whoa," because he's just like doing behind the back passes, like
he's a hooper.
hook shots, and they're
Plays a little
that's
ball.
crazy.
Yeah, and
I'd like a water boy too.
I wonder how they would do that. Waterboy, the coach, Bobby Boucher, Coach Boucher.
My mama says. My mama says.
No, he just is in the pros. He's the oldest linebacker in the NFL.
I mean, they kind of did that with the longest yard, where he played football with what's the other guy's name? Oh man, I forget his name.
All of them.
Yeah, but there's the one funny Hispanic guy that's always in his movies. I think he's gay in that movie. He is. No, because he likes the cheerleader.
I just had popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I've always said that Adam Sandler is the GOAT of his own genre. I feel like his movies don't fit within a specific genre. It's just an Adam Sandler genre. Like, he just has his own flavor. Ridiculous Six. It's such a dumb movie, but it's so quotable. So, like, holy moly!
Isn't he in like 100 Ways to Die in the West or something like that too?
Is he?
I think so.
The Seth MacFarlane one?
I think he is in that one.
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
All right, we're almost out of time. So quick, the last topic.
Starbucks pumpkin spice in August.
So here's
that ain't
early,
right.
bro.
Here's the
too
question:
early.
when is too early to introduce fall flavors?
When it's still hot.
Well, I mean, in Texas, we're
that's
kinda,
It is
Texas thing.
But this is bullshit. It's going to be 106 today with a heat index of 108 to 111.
Pumpkin doesn't go down the same like that.
I can't drink a pumpkin spice.
So I'm all about pumpkins. I'm basic as fuck.
Yeah.
So in our Northwest house in Spokane, where we were, it's a high of 75 today.
Okay.
that's the high.
That's the high.
What's the low?
The low is
50.
56.
Now, if I drink pumpkin spice, that's fine, but I don't like pumpkin spice.
You don't like pumpkin spice?
No.
Mike
There's like 3 people that don't like it.
Mike
what-
is a purist.
What's your go-to flavor? Black coffee?
Do you drink your wine like this with your pinky out?
I'm not a huge wine fan.
Yeah, Mike ain't drinking wine.
Yeah, I'm not drinking wine.
Yeah.
So if I have to drink coffee, you heard of black coffee?
Yeah.
I like white coffee. I got more cream and sugar.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Hey, you and me both. I got like half the gallon of creamer.
Not me. I like
Yeah,
my
this-
coffee like my women.
I will
Strong,
tell you-
mean and bitter.
On the topic of coffee, this stuff is efficient. Like I've only drank.
Isn't that bad?
I'm
It's pretty good.
almost
It's a pep.
halfway down, and 20 minutes ago, I almost had a panic attack during the middle of this. So I had to kind of slow it down a little bit. So if you're a recovering cocaine addict,
And you need that get
if you need that get up, this is it for you. Give up the cyanocobalamin in Celsius.
The fact that there's 35 servings in this little bottle, and I've got like 8 in my glass
Yeah,
by
it was-
mistake.
You've only touched about half of it.
Wow. I mean, I got.
What's funny is when I showed up with the bottles, I was like, it says to mix with water and or milk. And John was like, "Oh, good thing you told me, because I would."
For sure. No, I'm really glad you told me that because that would really sucked.
You would have been twitching in the corner.
I'm already jacked because I drank a whole cup and I think I did the same thing Mike did.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like sitting over here. You guys are talking. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's where I was 25 minutes ago. If you rewind it 25 minutes ago, I took a sip of water and considered going to the hospital, which I have done after leaving Black Rifle.
So it
That's a true
does get
story.
you job.
Yeah, it gets you. It works.
Hobby.
works.
Hobby.
Hobby.
It's San Antonio. Hobby.
Iced vanilla cream jizzle by Hobby. I mean drizzle.
So you would say August is too early, at least in Texas.
I
for
think anything
pumpkin
before
spice.
October is too early.
October
Why
is
the
low.
hell is there the big creepy guy in.
You gotta
Home
wait
Depot
until
right
after
now?
Labor Day.
Come
at least,
on!
you know what I mean? Like, no white after Labor Day. Like, no pumpkin spice before
Yeah.
Labor Day.
It's an
You know what I
October
mean?
thing, man. I don't know.
Like-
Maybe even
Yeah.
November. You know, very much so a November thing. I don't know about it August. I think they're just maybe Starbucks is just running out of money.
Maybe.
I'm thinking.
Who knows?
I'm thinking
Well-
October 1st you can kick off pumpkin spice.
Imagine making
Well,
a flavor
the
that
CEO of Chipotle just took over.
of Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yep, that was a huge
Wow.
thing that happened a week and a half ago. I mean, their stock, like investors like it. Their stock, like
Damn, I was about to buy them too.
they were at like $75 a share, and they just shot up to like 92, 93.
Wow! Imagine having a
Chipotle's just
flavor
doing a big
so
split.
powerful that you can revive your business with.
Imagine
Pumpkin
having
spice.
a quesadilla flavored Starbucks.
It's like manna.
We did try enchilada flavored soda.
Oh,
How did that go?
it wasn't good.
No, it probably smelled like throw up.
It was not good.
Yeah, it was not
Yeah.
good at all.
It was like it tasted like somebody put like old gym material in an orange soda.
Oh, normally that's my thing.
It was not good.
Oh, it was
wasn't
bad. It was bad. The bamboozled
No, the
jelly beans
bamboozled,
were
yeah.
the worst, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys couldn't take those. I was a little disappointed, you guys.
That was god awful. Like I almost threw up out here.
I'll
Like
get
I just
I'll
was
get
like, well,
Paolo's
I'm about
down.
to. Like, I mean, I thought about it. It's like, should I just puke on the show?
Just get quiet.
Mike's over there just like taking dirty socks down
bad.
and vomit. And
He's
he's
like,
just
oh
like,
man.
he's like, oh, it's terrible. And then
He's
he's
like,
like,
he's like that rotten
oh, it's
fish.
so gross.
That's not good. Old Bandage, that one tastes bad. And I'm like, how the fuck are you eating that? How are you eating that?
We'll go get some Jelly Bellies.
Some jelly bellies.
So let me ask you guys a question. For anybody that might be considering getting into the industry, we'll start with you. Realtor, you can speak on your own job. As a realtor, what would you recommend the pipeline be to start off successfully?
Pipeline as far as like,
What's the move? Do you get a mentor? Do you get your license and jump right into a cloud brokerage?
so if I had to do it again, I would probably go to a cloud-based brokerage. I'm a self-learner, but I would also look for a cloud-based brokerage that has a bunch of producers who are going to help lead me. Look for a sponsor that's a mega icon agent, meaning they sell over $100 million a year. And look for that level of support. I wouldn't go to a big brokerage like your Keller Williams or your Century 21. Not saying that they're bad, but when you talk about molding and mentality and making your own business, I think it's more about authenticity with your business and your why. why you're getting into real estate. Most people get into real estate because they're like,
Desperation.
I don't have anything else to do and I need money. Like, I'm going to go sell houses.
Just join the military.
Which I don't think that's the best reason to get into real estate. I think you should be out to help people
For sure.
achieve, that financial freedom of owning a home, taking ownership of something that, they never thought was even possible, helping them guide the way. So if somebody's looking to get into real estate, I would just look for a support system or a brokerage that's going to have that support system that I need. Some of the big brokerages do offer good trainings, but they're going to take a lot of your money, and you're going to have to follow in their kind of their ethical standard or their how they want to be presented.
Yeah.
So
That's a good answer.
Versus creating your own brand, creating your own person, being your own person, creating your own business.
Unless you have marketing experience already, you really
Right.
do need that lever. That's something to lean on.
You do. So, and if you're thinking of getting into real estate, especially now, you should have at least some slightest knowledge of how to market yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, don't do it.
Everything matters. And I had an agent tell me, because I have two buddies at Cooper's, and we were having lunch one time, and one of them always posting like political stuff, and the other one, he just doesn't say anything. And I can appreciate a lot of the stuff that this person stands up for, right? Like, I agree with a lot of the stuff he says. However, when we were talking about it at lunch, this guy, and they're both pretty experienced, he says, you don't want to do that, even though it might be honorable on a personal level, but on a professional level, once you pick Republican, you just split your audience in half, right? You just cut off the possibility of getting this other half of the room. So that marketability really ties into that.
Yeah. I like that. I am a little bit of a difference in opinion because I don't want to have to hide who I am to get somebody's business.
Well, that's what lunch appointments are for.
So, if somebody's not going to agree with what I see, maybe we're not the right fit.
Yeah.
If you're, because trying to be somebody I'm not is going to lead me into guiding that buyer or that seller wrong, because I'm having to align with what they want, right?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have similar ideas, similarities, and have a better, stronger bond, understand each other better, be able to give my best advice, than have to kind of, not saying that I need to be political when it comes to real estate.
No, exactly.
But you kind of get the idea.
Yeah. Do you say retard or do you not say retard? Like, what's your stance on that?
So here's the problem with this. So most of the political stuff, like 98% of people want the exact same thing. They want to be left alone. They want to raise their family.
Yeah.
They want to be able to provide a better life for the kids. And all this stuff is so politicized by the big media and by the global elites that they've divided us so much that if you took the labels off, you're going to have a lot of stuff in common regardless.
Exactly. And you just get triggered.
We all want term limits.
Why
we
the hell
all
can't
want
we
term
vote
limits.
We sure,
So
we sure the hell do. We all want
We
term
all
limits.
want
but yet
term
they'll never
limits.
put it in place
Yeah.
because they come in as poor and leave as millionaires.
Yeah. But, kind of removing...
And that's both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
remove the labels, start talking about things like, well, some people believe that small businesses shouldn't be funded by the government. Like they shouldn't have subsidized loans for a small business. I want small
Or
business.
bailouts.
Yeah. Or bailouts. Like, I don't care for the bailouts, but I care for the small business. Like, I want small businesses to thrive because people have genuine ideas. Like, they have unique ideas that should be a business because it provides a service. And what we hear in the software world, or the SDLC, which is software development lifecycle, is we should be out to solve problems, right? Like, if you can find a viable problem that has an audience that needs to be solved and you have a solution to it, you then have a sellable product.
You need that, at least.
And we need that.
And the first sellable product is self.
Yeah.
That's
Your
where it all
service.
starts.
It's called dating.
Which is funny that John talks about the lawyers being like, they charge 6%, we charge 35%. Let's go get their 6,
I know,
bitches.
it's like, look at that. We're going to knock off 3% over here. But don't worry. Like, we're getting $1 billion settlement. Cool. We're only going to take 333 million of that.
They're like, what are you doing with your 3? Oh, I just bought a Lamborghini. Oh, guess what? I'm wealthy. I just bought another house. Go
I saved
figure.
3%. On that purchase.
And they got screwed on the inspection.
I tell you what, though, I remember taking real estate classes when I was 19. I never bothered getting my real estate license because I quickly realized it really wasn't for me, right? And every 3 or 4 minutes in those classes, I would hear, so the attorney can do this. I mean, the real estate agent can't, but the attorney can do that. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So realtors are, and I don't want to throw something out that's going to get me in trouble, but realtors are licensed to practice limited law, right? It's already predetermined by Texas state lawyers as to what we can fill out and do and say. We cannot write our own legal documentation. We can't even edit the verbiage of what are those pre-promulgated forms.
Right.
So we, in essence, are kind of a middleman, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people don't hold themselves to that standard or even hold themselves as a professional standard. But, I mean, could they do without real estate agents? I'm sure you could, but it would be the wild, wild west, and I think litigation and claims would skyrocket.
I'm anticipating that, and I've discussed a marketing strategy for that with my boss that I'm not going to put out yet, but I'm glad you touched on that. I think we're going to be expecting a lot of FSBOs. So as a title company, I'm totally expecting us, going out and hitting those FSBOs and, hey, we'll help you with the contract. I can even help you, with some recommendations on what you're going to do to list your house in order to sell it faster.
Right. And I think that's awesome, but where I feel it falls short is that actual guidance, right? Like
that's huge.
Having somebody in your corner to advocate for you, having
to text right away.
And that's where a lot of agents fail to portray their value to a client or to a buyer. Is like, hey, I have a book of resources. If somebody calls out if the inspector calls out the roof and we need to get a third opinion and party, I have people on speed dial that we can get on that roof to give us a professional evaluation from that industry. If they call out plumbing, the HVAC, we have them on speed dial. You, on the other hand, and you only have 7 days for your option period. You, on the other hand, are going to probably spend 2 to 3 days finding a reputable HVAC technician, finding a reputable roofer, finding a reputable plumber, who can then get in the house. And if you don't follow your timeline or have the best advice, or
you just lost
even
option.
Know that you can ask for an extension, you lost your option.
Yep.
Now you're screwed.
Filling out the form properly.
Right. So there's a lot to that service that, especially now after the lawsuit, agents are just going to have to be able to portray and sell.
Yep.
It's not just I'm going to go buy my own house, right? Like,
100%.
Go save yourself some money, but cost yourself thousands.
Yeah, you risk that for sure.
So, but John, let's toss the question your way, John.
The question was, for somebody that would decide to get into insurance currently, what would you say to them if they're starting off? What to start them off on the right foot?
Buckle up, buttercup.
MyInsuranceGroup.com. Join careers.
No, I think you have to have a combination of a couple of things to do it. You have to have that, like Ernest said it too. You have to have a drive to help people, and ultimately, that's what the only fulfillment I get. Right, is the fact that I know that I'm doing somebody a service, and because there's a lot of insurance isn't always fun, but man, when you have it and you have the right insurance in place, you're going to be very thankful, and so at least I can come at it with like an advisory educational role, and that's cool. I might not be the cheapest, but I'm going to tell you what you should have, and you
stay on top of it.
And so I would think that the most important thing for somebody starting out is if they want to. So I would definitely go the independent route because I've drank the independent Kool-Aid, right? Like, so I am essentially a broker, and so I can go right with Travelers, Progressive, Safeco.
Nice.
Whereas there's some of these captives, like you go get a job at USAA, it might look really cool, and that's one way to do it. I would never want to work at a place like that. Same thing with some of the other some of the other insurance captive agencies, right? Like that they only have this one option. And I have some good friends that are State Farm agents. I have some good friends that are Farmers agents. I mean, they're good people. It's just I don't think I would go that route. I would go the independent route.
Are they good neighbors?
Like a good neighbor? John Hansen's there.
It's weird. I actually have several realtors that are neighbors. So. But no, I would say that right now is a weird time to try to get into the insurance industry.
The common theme is mentorship, really.
Yeah, but you find somebody that holds some values that you hold, and because the sad thing is there's a lot of bad insurance agents out there, and they do very illegal, crazy shit that they will probably at some point get in trouble for, right? But they can get away with it for a long time, and if you don't know any better, you don't know any better. You know, kind of like what you were talking about. Like, so I would find people that hold themselves to a high ethical standard.
Yeah.
You know, I love that you say that. Like, there's bad agents out there that will do whatever to get the deal, because a lot of them are money driven. And from what I see, especially like on the real estate side, is agents don't just get into it because, at 10 years old, I wanted to become a real estate agent. They get into it because,
unless their parent was a realtor. But.
Yeah, like unless their parent, but they people get into the professions for the wrong reasons nowadays. Everything's so money motivated. Where back in the day it was like you grew up as a kid, you wanted to go to college, you wanted to become an electrical engineer, you wanted to go and do this. Now it's just like, I'm getting a job to survive. Like, I need to become an insurance agent. They get that little bit of taste. Same thing with real estate. They get a taste of a commission check, and then everything becomes money driven because their heart's not really into it. Like, it's not really what they want to be doing, but they're doing it because it's making them money.
So I've been in the industry for, I think it's been 16 months now, and I think the most important thing for me that has kept me going is surrounding myself with people who are like-minded in a way of that we need to all protect each other.
Right.
We need to all look out for each other. We need to protect each other's reputations, our pocketbooks, just wherever, and just keep it like that. If you have a falling out with somebody, just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Move on. Go make some new friends. Everybody's not for everybody, and you're not going to be best friends with everybody for each other's entire lives. So.
Right. John, anything else you want to elaborate on that?
No.
Go to myinsuranceGroup.com /careers.
But we're going to ask Mike's been contemplating over here.
He's been pondering.
Still thinking about flat Earth.
Shoot the question over to Mike.
You thinking about what's under the table at Klaus Schwab's? Who would be underneath that? On the next episode.
Getting into the loan offers business right now, I'm not sure it's going to be around in 10 years. I mean, I really think that AI is going to replace my job. I mean, as it gets better and better, more and more stuff gets automated.
Yeah.
Choose wisely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because...
I firmly believe, man, that lenders in this industry have the hardest job.
No, we have a hard job because you have to be analytical. You have to be able to put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah.
And you can be really good at that, and if you can't sell, you're going to starve.
Yep.
Right.
And you got people who are great salesmen but can't put a loan together, so they're screwing their clients.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have both puzzle pieces to be an effective person.
And the drive.
And the drive, because business is not walking up.
Yep. It's like you're like you have to accept that you're going to be a side piece all the time.
And nobody loves us. I mean, who wants to go talk about a mortgage?
Yeah.
It's terrible. We're the proctologists of the real estate business. I mean, honestly, we're digging into people's lives. We're asking for documents they haven't looked at in years, and we're like, yeah, I need that. Why do you need that? If I didn't need it,
I have to source it.
Yeah, I mean...
We see so many instances in title where a lender will communicate, but you can just tell the personality type on the deal of either the realtor or the client. They see the email and they're just like, fuck, I don't want to read that. and then somebody gets blamed for it, and like all you had to do is read the email, right? And like 3 days later, it's like, where's this at? It's like, well, did you read the email? Oh, I forgot about that. Should have flagged it.
Yeah. And if we ask for something, we need it. It's not going to go away. It's not going to not be there. We need it.
Yeah, that's a mindset thing. We have a societal decay in that regard. So it's
Yeah, I mean, bottom line though, if you do what's right for the client every time, it'll work out.
Yeah. I have a goal in life to make enough money to where my alarm clock goes off and somebody slaps me in the face and tells me what to do next. Because it happens. There's professional football players, basketball athletes, and business people that they pay an accountability person.
Okay.
Yeah, just wake up. Here's your food. Don't even have to think. You just
Go do it.
You're just a zombie on a schedule.
What's next?
That's awesome. Wait, it kind of sounds like somebody we know. He's in the White House? What?
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
oh god,
Just give
it's
me
sad.
food.
And on that note, we
Good.
are out. We are wrapping up Homes and
There's
Homies.
no
Yeah,
out- there's
the
no outro
outro.
then.
Join us next week for more topic and cool discussions, or more real estate discussions, mortgage discussions, insurance discussions, possibly title discussions.
On Homes and Homies.
Thank you all
On
for
the
the
Homes
invite,
and Homies
guys.
podcast.
This was
We're out.
awesome.